Hi, I'm Elaine Stomber, the co-director of Special Collections and College Archives and College Archivist. I'm also a proud member of the class of 1989 and looking forward to Lafayette's upcoming bicentennial in 2026. I have the privilege of caring for the most precious and rare artifacts held in the college's archives and documenting our rich and fascinating history. As we gear up for our bicentennial, I'd like to take you on a journey beginning with the story of our founding and showing you some of the rarest artifacts from the archives. They're our touchstone, our legacy. Lafayette College's history begins with the 1824-25 triumphant return to America by the Marquis de Lafayette. This visit became known as the Farewell Tour and was an event unlike any other in American history. From the moment he landed in New York in August of 1824, Lafayette was embraced as a venerated symbol of the American Revolution. Everywhere Lafayette traveled during the 14-month tour, and he visited each of the then existing 24 states in the Union, he was hailed as a hero. Thousands of Americans turned out to see him in every city, and he was celebrated with parades, ceremonies, balls, and dinners in his honor. During Lafayette's travels throughout the nation, a young Easton lawyer named James Madison Porter and approximately 200 of his fellow Eastonians traveled down the Delaware River to Philadelphia. They participated in Philadelphia's festivities for 6 days in September and met Lafayette. In December of that same year, Porter called for a meeting at a hotel on Easton Center Square for those who were interested in exploring the idea of establishing a college. Many at this meeting had seen Lafayette in Philadelphia, and the choice of the name for the new college was quickly adopted. One of our earliest records in the college archives is this book, which records minutes of the meeting in Easton on December 27, 1824. An excerpt reads, "In memory, out of respect for the signal services rendered by General Lafayette in the great cause of freedom, the said college shall be forever and hereafter called and known by the name of Lafayette College. The date, December 27, 1824, marks the conception of our college in Easton and its naming after the Marquis de Lafayette." But why did it take so long for the college to be incorporated in 1826, 2 years after it was named in memory of Lafayette at a public meeting in Easton? Our founding trustees prepared the petition for the charter for the new college, but it was debated and delayed in the Pennsylvania legislature for a year and a half. The bill to incorporate Lafayette College wasn't signed into law by Governor Schultz until March 9th of 1826. Therefore, the 200th anniversary of our incorporation, also known as our founding, is March 9th, 2026. This is the date the state of Pennsylvania officially recognizes our institution in 1826 and marks Lafayette College's bicentennial in 2026. But Lafayette College didn't finally open its doors for 6 more years until May of 1832, primarily because our trustees could not find a president willing to serve. The board was finally able to persuade the Reverend George Junkin to relocate his Pennsylvania Manual Labor Academy from Germantown to Easton. Junkin and his students walked to Easton from Philadelphia with their belongings on their backs, but they didn't set up their classrooms on College Hill at first. For its first 2 years, Lafayette College was housed in rented quarters in several buildings along the banks of the Lehigh River on Easton's south side. In this engraving, you can see 2 small structures in the foreground. These are the original Lafayette College buildings. The first day of classes on Easton's south side was May 9, 1832. As the student population grew, the rented buildings on the banks of the Lehigh River quickly became insufficient. In 1833, the board negotiated the purchase of tracts of land to the north, overlooking downtown Easton and totaling about 9 acres. This area, originally part of the vast Lenape-Hoking or Lenape homeland, became College Hill. The first building on this site, where South College now stands, was affectionately referred to as the original college edifice. Designed by President George Junkin, it was built during academic year 1833-34. Junkin served as general contractor and completed much of the construction work himself with the help of our earliest students. President Junkin, faculty, and students occupied this building on April 1st, 1834, and May 3rd, 1834 was our first day of classes in the new building on College Hill. 17 days after we celebrated that first day of classes on College Hill, the Marquis de Lafayette died in Paris on May 20th, 1834. While we don't know for sure that Lafayette was aware of the college named in his honor in Easton, Pennsylvania, we do know that he was notified by our earliest students before his death. In 1832, members of the Franklin Literary Society sent Lafayette this letter announcing that they had elected him as an honorary member. It was found in a Paris antique shop in 1932, along with other Lafayette correspondence. So I like to think that it reached him and that he was aware of our young college before his death. In the letter, our students share their hopes with Lafayette, wishing that his last hours may be as peaceful as his life has been glorious. They also express their feelings of love and veneration as young Americans shall always cherish for Lafayette. The first commencement, celebrated on September 22, 1836, brings our story of the founding of Lafayette College to a close and initiates a new beginning for generations of alumni to come. Our earliest graduates were handed their diplomas a dozen years after Lafayette College was named in Easton in 1824, and 10 years after we were granted our charter by the state of Pennsylvania in 1826. As you can see, Lafayette College has a rich and storied history, the artifacts of which we are extremely lucky to house here at the college. As we approach our bicentennial in 2026, I encourage all members of our community to engage with our past as we look forward to the amazing things we will achieve in our future.